A 12-year-old girl recently astonished the world by achieving a perfect score of 162 on the Mensa IQ test, a result that instantly propelled her into the spotlight. This score not only grants her membership in one of the most exclusive high IQ societies in the world, but it also places her in the top 1% of the global population in terms of cognitive ability. Her performance demonstrates an extraordinary intellectual capacity, and her story has captured widespread attention across social media and major news outlets, generating both admiration and curiosity. At such a young age, most children are still mastering the fundamentals of math, science, and reading. Yet here is someone who not only excels at those subjects, but demonstrates a comprehension and mental agility that far surpasses the average. Scoring a 162 on the Mensa test suggests that her brain processes information with incredible speed and precision, and that she can solve complex problems, identify patterns, and make logical inferences at a level that even highly educated adults might struggle to match. The Mensa IQ test itself is designed to assess a range of cognitive skills, including logical reasoning, spatial understanding, and verbal intelligence. It's not a test one can study for in the traditional sense. Rather, it measures innate cognitive potential. Achieving a score at the very top of the scale is a rare feat, especially for someone who hasn't even entered their teenage years. Her performance signals that she possesses a mental framework that is not only structurally unique, but exceptionally efficient. What makes her story even more remarkable is the apparent ease with which she approached the exam. According to accounts from those close to her, she did not undergo any special training or intensive preparation. Instead, she approached the test with curiosity and enthusiasm. This speaks volumes about her natural inclination toward intellectual challenges and her intrinsic motivation to explore complex ideas. The mindset with which she engages the world around her, one of constant inquiry and fearless engagement, is often what separates high achievers from the merely talented. Her achievement has become a symbol of potential, the kind of potential that society often overlooks because of assumptions about age, gender, or background. There's a growing conversation about how we identify and support gifted children, and her success has added momentum to that dialogue. Too often, children with exceptional abilities are not given the resources or support they need to fully realize their talents. In this case, however, the spotlight on her performance may help educators and policymakers re-examine how giftedness is evaluated and nurtured. Beyond the test score, her ability to stay grounded and focused is another trait that's earned her praise. Despite the media attention, she has continued to express a love for learning and a deep interest in subjects like mathematics and computer science. Her goals are ambitious but clear. She aspires to pursue a career in scientific research and contribute to solving real-world problems. This maturity of vision, combined with her cognitive capabilities, is what makes her story so compelling. What also stands out is the encouragement she's received from her family. Their support and belief in her potential have played a crucial role in her development. Research has long shown that children thrive intellectually when they are raised in environments that value education, foster curiosity, and provide emotional encouragement. The synergy between her natural aptitude and her upbringing has created an ideal context for her to flourish. She is not just a product of intelligence, but of environment, support, and opportunity. Her journey challenges stereotypes about what children can achieve. In a world that often underestimates the intellectual capacity of young people, she represents a new narrative, one in which age is not a barrier to excellence. She has opened the door for others like her, serving as a reminder that brilliance can emerge in unexpected places and at unexpected times. The conversation surrounding her story is likely to influence how future generations of gifted children are identified and supported. The story of the 12-year-old girl achieving a perfect Mensa IQ score has sparked significant interest not only because of her age, but also due to the comparison it invites with some of history's most celebrated thinkers. However, her extraordinary accomplishment opens up a broader discussion about the nature of intelligence and how society defines, measures, and values it. IQ scores, while useful in certain contexts, are only one dimension of a much more complex intellectual landscape. IQ tests are designed to measure specific cognitive abilities such as logical reasoning, pattern recognition, spatial visualization, and verbal comprehension. These tests aim to quantify an individual's problem-solving skills and abstract thinking, giving a general indication of intellectual potential. A high score typically indicates that someone has strong analytical capabilities, can process information quickly, and demonstrates advanced critical thinking. However, this does not necessarily reflect creativity, emotional intelligence, practical skills, or the ability to innovate, all of which are critical aspects of real-world intelligence. In this sense, traditional IQ testing offers a narrow view of human potential. People excel in many different ways, and intelligence manifests across a wide spectrum of abilities. Musical talent, artistic creativity, leadership skills, emotional depth, and practical ingenuity often lie outside the scope of standardized assessments. The fact that someone can achieve such an impressive IQ score does not automatically mean they will excel in all areas of life or contribute meaningfully to society without other complementary traits like perseverance, empathy, or adaptability. Moreover, the context in which intelligence is expressed matters enormously. For instance, someone may have the cognitive tools to solve a difficult mathematical equation, but might struggle to work in a team setting or communicate their ideas effectively. Conversely, another individual might not score in the top percentile of an IQ test, but could have an exceptional talent for motivating others, building relationships, or developing creative solutions in high-pressure situations. These types of intelligence, often referred to as interpersonal or practical intelligence, are not captured by IQ testing, but are no less vital in the real world. It's also important to recognize that standardized IQ testing may not be universally fair or culturally neutral. Test design often reflects the values, language, and assumptions of the society in which it was created. As a result, individuals from different cultural or linguistic backgrounds might not perform as well, not because they lack intelligence, but because the test format is unfamiliar or misaligned with their way of thinking. This has led to ongoing debates about how best to assess intelligence in a diverse global population. In light of these limitations, many experts argue that intelligence should be viewed as a multifaceted concept. Howard Gardner's theory of multiple intelligences, for example, outlines various types such as linguistic, logical mathematical, spatial, bodily kinesthetic, musical, interpersonal, intrapersonal, and naturalistic intelligence. According to this view, an individual may be highly intelligent in one area and average in others, challenging the idea that a single number can define a person's intellectual worth. The young girl's accomplishment certainly deserves recognition. It is rare and commendable. Yet, it is essential to avoid placing her or anyone else on a pedestal solely because of a high IQ score. What truly matters is how that intelligence is applied. Does it lead to innovation? Does it improve the lives of others? Is it used to solve problems that matter? These are the deeper questions that society should consider when evaluating the implications of intelligence. Another issue to consider is the pressure placed on those who receive public acclaim for their mental capabilities. Labeling someone as a genius can create unrealistic expectations and place a psychological burden on them to consistently perform at an exceptional level. It can also overshadow the importance of effort, resilience, and character, traits that are just as critical to long-term success and fulfillment as intellectual prowess. True achievement is often the result of a balance between ability, drive, and support systems rather than innate talent alone. Ultimately, the excitement surrounding the young girl's score provides an opportunity to reflect on how society understands and celebrates intelligence. It prompts a broader discussion about the value of diverse cognitive strengths and the importance of cultivating a well-rounded human being, not just a high-performing mind. While such stories are inspirational, they should also encourage a deeper exploration of what it truly means to be smart in a world that demands more than just analytical brilliance. The impressive performance of a 12-year-old girl who scored 162 on the Mensa IQ test highlights not only her exceptional intellectual potential, but also brings attention to the various factors that can influence outcomes on standardized intelligence assessments. While a score of this magnitude is undeniably rare and noteworthy, it's essential to understand that results on such tests are not purely the result of innate intelligence. Motivation, environmental influences, access to resources, and personal mindset all play critical roles in shaping a person's cognitive performance. Motivation, in particular, can significantly impact how someone approaches and performs on an IQ test. Research has shown that individuals who are highly motivated during testing tend to score higher than those who are not fully engaged. In the case of children, motivation might stem from a desire to impress adults, curiosity about the test itself, or a natural enjoyment of problem solving. These internal drivers can lead to greater concentration, effort, and perseverance, factors that often enhance performance but are not directly related to raw intellectual capacity. It's also important to consider the role of a child's environment. A stimulating home environment where education is encouraged, curiosity is nurtured, and learning materials are readily available can provide a foundation that supports intellectual development. Children raised in such environments often encounter a richer vocabulary, more complex problem-solving tasks, and broader exposure to abstract thinking, all of which prepare them to succeed in formalized testing situations. Conversely, a lack of these supports might limit a child's ability to fully demonstrate their capabilities, regardless of their natural intelligence. Socioeconomic background plays an equally critical role. Families with greater financial stability are typically able to provide higher quality educational opportunities, such as advanced classes, access to books and technology, extracurricular enrichment, and exposure to mentors. These advantages can lead to earlier cognitive development and better performance on standardized tests. This means that while the IQ score reflects cognitive functioning, it may also reflect the cumulative impact of years of educational and social reinforcement. Parental involvement and encouragement further enhance a child's intellectual engagement. Children who grow up in households where their ideas are valued, their questions are answered with care, and their talents are recognized are more likely to believe in their own potential. That belief can translate into confidence during test taking and a willingness to tackle challenging problems, factors that can positively affect IQ scores. In contrast, children who receive less encouragement or face criticism may develop anxiety around testing and underperform relative to their actual ability. Another key influence is the child's mindset, specifically whether they view intelligence as a fixed trait or as something that can grow with effort. A growth mindset, which emphasizes learning, resilience, and perseverance, tends to correlate with better academic outcomes and greater long-term success. A child who approaches an IQ test with the belief that challenges are opportunities rather than threats is more likely to stay focused, try harder, and complete more of the test successfully. This psychological framing can have a measurable impact on performance. In addition, the structure and timing of the test itself can influence results. Some individuals may excel in high-pressure, time-sensitive environments, while others may struggle despite possessing high intelligence. Variables such as test anxiety, fatigue, or distractions can negatively affect performance, particularly in younger test takers. A calm, supportive testing atmosphere can help mitigate these issues and allow a child's true abilities to shine through. It's also worth noting that early exposure to puzzles, games, and critical thinking activities can prepare a child for the types of questions found on IQ tests. While the test is designed to measure innate ability, familiarity with the types of logic or spatial reasoning questions it contains can give certain children a considerable edge. Therefore, what appears to be a measure of pure intellectual potential may in some cases reflect extensive informal training or exposure rather than natural ability alone. These considerations highlight the complexity behind test results, like a 162 IQ score. While such a number suggests exceptional reasoning skills and mental agility, it's shaped by a range of factors beyond cognitive wiring. Motivation, environment, opportunity, and mindset all converge to influence the final outcome. Understanding. This helps create a more nuanced view of intelligence, one that recognizes both the remarkable abilities of high scorers and the importance of context in shaping how those abilities are expressed and measured. Stories of young individuals accomplishing extraordinary intellectual feats often serve as powerful reminders of the potential that lies within the next generation. When a 12-year-old girl scores a perfect 162 on the Mensa IQ test, it's not just a testament to her individual brilliance. It becomes a source of inspiration for children, parents, educators, and society as a whole. These rare achievements can challenge deeply rooted beliefs about age and capability, offering a glimpse into how far young minds can reach when given the chance to thrive. What makes such a story particularly resonant is that it transcends the numbers. It's not just about scoring high on a test, it's about what that score represents. A signal that the boundaries we often place around youth and intelligence may be more flexible than we think. Too often, exceptional ability in children is overlooked or underestimated because of assumptions tied to age or maturity. When someone so young demonstrates such extraordinary potential, it forces us to reevaluate those assumptions and recognize that brilliance does not always wait until adulthood to emerge. This kind of accomplishment becomes a catalyst for a larger cultural shift. It motivates educators to look more closely at the talents in their classrooms, to spot the quiet thinkers or curious explorers who may not always raise their hands, but who possess unique intellectual gifts. It encourages parents to foster environments where curiosity is welcomed, questions are encouraged, and learning is not limited to school hours. These are the stories that can help shift the educational landscape toward one that values personalized learning and development over standardized expectations. Inspiration, in this context, becomes a powerful tool. When children see someone their own age achieving something extraordinary, they begin to imagine that they too can push boundaries. The role model effect is particularly strong in this case because it comes from someone not years ahead in life, but a peer. It's no longer an abstract ideal. It becomes real, relatable, and achievable. That spark of belief is often what ignites a passion for learning that lasts a lifetime. For other gifted children, such moments of recognition can validate their own experiences. Many gifted students feel isolated, misunderstood, or even bored in traditional academic settings that don't challenge them or acknowledge their unique capabilities. Seeing a peer succeed on a public stage can reassure them that their intellectual differences are strengths, not burdens. It can provide the courage to pursue their own interests, seek out advanced learning opportunities, or simply embrace who they are with pride and confidence. Moreover, stories like this highlight the importance of early identification and support for gifted individuals. Intellectual potential, especially at a young age, needs nurturing. Without the right resources, mentorship, or encouragement, many talented children may never reach their full capabilities. This event brings attention to the systems that are or are not in place to help gifted students grow. It emphasizes the need for schools and communities to create programs that allow exceptional learners to flourish, not by forcing them to conform, but by adapting to their needs and potential. There's also a broader societal impact. These moments remind the public that the next generation holds remarkable promise. In a world filled with complex problems, from climate change to technological disruption, we need creative, sharp, and determined young minds more than ever. Celebrating youth achievement doesn't just elevate the individual, it sends a signal that investing in education, mentorship, and innovation from a young age is critical to our collective future. The ripple effect of such stories is wide-reaching. Teachers might be more attentive to the quiet brilliance in the back of the room. Parents might engage more deeply with their child's interests, seeing them not just as hobbies, but as early signs of passion and potential. Young people might begin to take more ownership of their learning journeys, feeling empowered to explore beyond the curriculum. And communities might become more supportive of academic enrichment opportunities, understanding that the seeds of future breakthroughs are often planted in childhood. In celebrating intellectual achievement in youth, we are reminded that the potential for greatness is not bound by age. The young girl's accomplishment doesn't exist in isolation. It is part of a larger narrative about what can happen when natural ability meets opportunity, encouragement, and belief. Stories like hers become not just headlines, they become touchstones that inspire others to dream bigger, push harder, and recognize that greatness can begin at any age. The extraordinary story of a young girl achieving a perfect score on the Mensa IQ test does more than highlight one individual's brilliance. It symbolizes a much broader and more hopeful message about the future of human potential. It invites us to reimagine what is possible when talent is recognized early and nurtured with care, and it challenges outdated assumptions about age, intelligence, and achievement. Moments like these are not just celebrations of exceptional individuals. They are opportunities to reflect on the environments and values that allow such exceptionalism to flourish. In every corner of the world, there are young minds capable of greatness, waiting to be discovered, supported, and empowered. This story serves as a reminder that intelligence comes in many forms and often reveals itself when we least expect it. It encourages educators to be attentive to the hidden talents in their classrooms, inspires parents to nurture curiosity at home, and calls on communities to create spaces where all children have access to the tools and resources they need to thrive. At the same time, it's important to remember that intelligence alone is not enough. Success, whether in science, the arts, or any field, depends not just on how smart someone is, but on how they apply their gifts. Qualities like perseverance, emotional resilience, creativity, and the ability to collaborate are just as important as IQ. That's why, even as we marvel at high test scores and exceptional academic milestones, we must also emphasize the development of the whole person. Character, passion, empathy, and grit, these are the traits that transform potential into lasting impact. This story also shines a spotlight on the importance of equity in education. For every gifted child whose abilities are recognized and supported, there are many more whose talents go unnoticed due to systemic barriers or lack of access. If we are to truly unlock the potential of future generations, we must ensure that every child, regardless of background, has the opportunity to learn, grow, and be challenged in ways that reflect their unique abilities. Ultimately, stories like this serve as both inspiration and challenge. They show what's possible, but they also ask us to do more, to look beyond numbers, nurture every kind of intelligence, and believe that extraordinary potential exists in many places, not just the most obvious ones. They remind us that while brilliance may begin with raw talent, it reaches its full expression through opportunity, support, and a vision for what's possible. This young girl's journey is still unfolding, and her future, like the futures of countless other gifted young people, depends on what we do today to support, encourage, and believe in the minds of tomorrow.